Teisha with Shalom TV's News Update. The Jerusalem Post reports that Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas and Hamas leader Khalid Mashal are scheduled to meet in Cairo on Friday in a renewed attempt to form a Palestinian unity government. Mashal told the BBC on Thursday about the meeting and said that the discussions were also focused on holding long overdue presidential and parliamentary elections in the West Bank and Gaza. Meanwhile, on the ground, conflict continues between the two factions. Sources close to Hamas said that PA security forces arrested 9 Hamas supporters, saying most of those arrested had been recently released from Israeli prison. We continue to look at reaction to the report released earlier this week by Bulgaria, which found that the Iran-backed terror group Hezbollah was behind the terror attack last summer in Burgas that killed 5 Israeli tourists and a Bulgarian bus driver. There have been calls from Israel and from Jewish organizations across the world for the European Union to designate Hezbollah as a terror group. The Jerusalem Post reported today that the EU would be discussing the question of whether to place Hezbollah on their terror list at a 2-day summit of the 27 EU state leaders, which begins today, Thursday, in Brussels. The Post cited an Israeli official saying the fact that the issue was being raised was a step in the right direction. Earlier today, the president of the European Parliament, the directly elected parliamentary institution of the EU, said the parties blamed by Bulgaria for the bombing should be, quote, brought to justice. EU Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton had said earlier this week that the Bulgarian report would be carefully assessed before any action regarding Hezbollah would occur. Leaders of the European Jewish Parliament wrote Ashton a letter regarding her statement, saying that, quote, what is at stake is nothing less than to allow or not a terrorist attack on EU territory to go unpunished, unquote. World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder was awarded the Order of Officer of the Legion of Honor, the highest decoration in France. Lauder was presented the award by France's President François Hollande, who told Lauder, "You have the ear of Jewish communities who are in need of support, leadership, and values in a world of menaces, a world where old hatreds are resurfacing that we thought had disappeared long ago. With you," Hollande said, "France honors a man of peace, of culture, and of commitment." The WJC president is in Paris leading a delegation of the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations, one of whose goals is to get France to place Hezbollah on the EU terror list. The delegation had met with Hollande on the issue. He said France would study the evidence assembled by the Bulgarian investigators before making any decision. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg has now weighed in on the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, or BDS, movement forum, which takes place today, Thursday, at Brooklyn College. There had been strong criticism from the Jewish community of the fact that the forum of the BDS movement, which seeks to delegitimize Israel, was being co-sponsored by the college's political science department. The New York Times reported on Wednesday that the mayor said that while he strongly disagrees with the BDS movement, a university should be free to sponsor a forum on any topic, including, he said, ideas that people find repugnant. Bloomberg said he couldn't disagree more violently with the BDS movement, but that if you want to go to a university where the government decides what kind of subjects are fit for discussion, I suggest you apply to a school in North Korea. And finally, today, the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism issued an appeal to Boy Scouts of America on Wednesday, urging the organization to end its ban on gay scouts and scout leaders. RAC Director Rabbi David Saperstein sent a letter to the Scouts organization President Wayne Perry, reacting to the organization's postponing their decision on the ban after saying last week that they would reconsider it. Saperstein wrote that while he recognizes that a careful review is part of any policy change, the cause of equality and justice is an urgent one and should not be delayed. Saperstein also noted the cost of persistent prejudice against lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender youth Namely, he said, bullying, discrimination, harassment, and tragically the high rate of suicide to which these too often lead. Saying these young people so frequently facing isolation in schools and in their family need more outlets to build community, not fewer. In his letter, Saperstein asked that the organization consider not only ending the nationwide ban, but also adopting a national non-discrimination policy. All people, Saperstein said, regardless of their sexuality, are created b'tselem Elohim, in the divine image, and thus have a place in our communities. And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha Bader.